Malcolm X. He was the only Muslim we knew. There were literally, I went back and looked at my high school yearbook. There were 0 Muslims in my high school. There was not a single masjid in my hometown, this town we lived in. And there's no Google. So it's like, what do you do when you want to be a Muslim? So we looked in the phone book, and I don't know if you're old enough to know what a phone book is. Like, we looked in phone books trying to find out.
Not for utility. We got hit with it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
It was a weapon.
Yeah, it was a weapon at that point.
No, it was a deadly. If you got hit with a phone book, you might kill somebody, or at least you may have brain damage and just don't know it. You know, like.
I deal with them every day. Definitely got.
Okay.
Listen, we didn't know what to look up. I kid you not. Like, back in the day, every single person's phone number was in the phone book. You had to pay to get your number out of the phone book.
Wow.
Data brokers back then was crazy.
Oh, it was a whole nother ballgame. Like, I'm talking about like 100,000 phone numbers, and they're all listed in alphabetical order. Well, we couldn't find anything that had anything to do with Malcolm X. In the church section of the phone book was a masjid called Masjid Bilal in Lexington, Kentucky. And this was a group of brothers that used to be in the Nation of Islam that started this masjid, and it was just a house. And this again is 1995, 1996. So most of the large masjids in America didn't even exist yet. And he told me the smartest thing, man. He might as well have offered me $1 million. He said, young brother, he said, if you come up to the masjid on Friday for prayer, I'll write you an excuse and you won't have to go to school. I hated school, man. I mean, he might as well have offered me like a new Nintendo, like telling me that I wouldn't have to go to school. Even on the phone with him, I was like, do you mean I don't have to go to school all day? And he was like, just come up here. I'll write you an excuse.
This is for anyone that's in the Dawah scene watching this. Dawah 101.
Oh,
you gotta start taking this to the high school.
He hooked me. And for 3 straight Fridays, we drove all the way. It's almost 35 minutes away. We drove up to this house.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 Muslims and these 2 teenage boys. And we were so dumb. We were looking for Malcolm X. Like, not literally, but we were listening for Malcolm and we were just like, these Muslims aren't like Malcolm X. We were looking for the Malcolm X Muslims.
Yeah.
That's all we knew. Now, what we didn't know was these were the Malcolm X Muslims. They came from him. We didn't know what it meant to be a Sunni Muslim. We didn't know what it meant to take your Shahada. When they prayed, we didn't understand them. And being the mischievous boys we were, we realized that the school was no longer checking the note. And so this was my idea. It's my fault. I literally may have to answer to Allah for this. I told Calvin, I was like, man, I think we can just stay home and play video games.
The life.
I missed like 40 straight Fridays of school playing video games, man. And the most beautiful ending to that story, 2 years ago, I still have family in Kentucky, and my 17-year-old niece, she saw my wife and I take our Shahada. She decided she wanted to be a Muslim, and we knew she had to be a part of a masjid. She lives with us now, but at the time she was in Kentucky. And so I looked up Masjid Bilal, and the former imam, his name is Shahid, Imam Shahid. He is retired, but he's still there. And we went to the masjid for Jummah one Friday. This is like 1.5 years ago now. And his son recognized me. And his son brought I asked his son, I said, is your father still alive? And he's like, my father's like right over in the corner. One, he looked just like himself. And he brought his father over, and his father told me, he said, my son showed me a video, and he said, my son said, Dad, there's a famous man from Kentucky that became a Muslim. And I said, do you remember me? And he said, no, he was very earnest and sincere. And I said, almost 28 years ago, I called the masjid and you invited me to come up for prayer. And then I had remembered I said, I even went to the YMCA and worked out with you one time. And he melted. Like you could see he remembered right away. And he said, I cannot believe that the man who was on the video that my son said, this famous man from Kentucky became a Muslim dad. He said, I can't believe that's the boy I invited to the masjid. And so, you know, all the way back then, like this is true of millions of not just African Americans, but Muslims around the world and non-Muslims. Brother Malcolm was, for all of us, our first introduction to Islam. And we revered him first. And because of that, it softened our heart to a religion that we didn't know. We knew no Muslims, but we knew this man was strong and beautiful and that he loved us. And from that point forward, I always had a soft spot in my heart. And I mean, even as at that time, hip hop, a lot of rappers were becoming Muslims. And I even wore a kufi. Like this is in high school. And
is that okay? Is that why you got beat up? Because you was wearing a kufi?
No. This was after I got beat up. Before I got beat up in March of 1995. I didn't read the autobiography of Malcolm X until a whole year later. And so we grew up in a town that was just overtly racist.